Hello everyone! I just thought I'd do a video recapping all of the acrylic brands in my studio. This is everything I think I have, brand-wise, in acrylics. I did not realize I had this many. This is a lot of brands of paint. Some of these I only have one or two colors of, so to my defense, you know, I'm not that much of a hoarder. But anyway. I've had a lot more years to work with these. Also, some of my older videos with the earlier ones are really bad quality. You can't really see what's going on. So I figured I'd just redo a whole thing, reiterate some stuff, tell you my new thoughts, if my tastes have changed, and all that sort of stuff. So I've kind of grouped them into sections here. We have the crafty type paints, we have the gaming type paints, we have the airbrushing type paints, soft body-ish type paints, and heavy body type paints. I guess I'll start here with the crafty stuff. Generally, this is the brand that a lot of people head towards when they're first starting out, which, you know, it's not terrible. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but it is what it is. They dry to a nice, flat, chalky finish. Lots of colors available, very cheap, but you do fight with these a lot. I wouldn't recommend these for, like, hand painting things. You know, if there's an odd color or two that you need for your collection of art supplies, then yeah, by all means, grab that. I don't have too much of a problem with the folk art, but, you know, I'm not going to use this. This is just for when I do crafty things with, you know, I don't know, family members, parties, you know, just junky stuff. Nothing seriously. Although, I did contact this company and ask about their archival quality and their light fastness, meaning if they last and how the colors hold up over time. And I was quite surprised in that the light fast was actually really good. The only problem is it's not consistent. It's not consistent, and it's not consistent across the colors either. So they couldn't give me an exact answer on like light fastnesses per color or overall, but well, they gave me one for generally overall, and the general overall light fast was actually really good. So, you know, it's not a bad paint, it's just I don't know, it's just not a professional paint, and it fights. There's not much pigment in it, and it's not very not very opaque either. So, but you know, they're fun. I just wouldn't recommend them. These are a lot worse. These I would just say stay away. This is like painting with water. There's like no. I had gotten this because I wanted a big bottle, and they didn't have that in the folk art. And I was painting some gaming minis to play with, and it was terrible. I hate it. But anyway, we'll go through that anyway. So my thoughts really haven't changed on those. This is something new. I don't think I had put this in a video before. This is actually very good. I like this quite a bit. It's very opaque. It has a really nice matte, chalky finish. The only problem I didn't realize, I mean, I have a few of these colors because I was doing signs and stuff that was great for, and it's a good quantity for a fairly decent price. I think this is only, I think it was like $9, but you get a good amount. But I didn't realize, you know, it says milk paint, you know, whatever. I thought it was just kind of like a fun thing, and it's actually by Folk Art also. But it's actually made with the protein in milk. So when you run into a problem is if you have an allergy to milk. So I don't have an allergy to milk personally, but I won't use this really on my sales pieces anymore. If I do, I'm going to be sealing that in really well and under a lot of layers. Now, when I say milk allergy, yeah, a lot of people are lactose intolerant. You know, you drink milk, you have a stomach ache, bad things happen, not good. That's not the allergy I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, if you touch milk or if you inhale milk, like the fumes from whatever, and have an allergy to that, almost like a contact allergy, you don't want to be using this. You know, and it's just too, I don't know. I don't know how common that is, but I have heard someone who has that kind of allergy. So now it's kind of like, I don't know if I really want to use this in my paint. But, so you just have to be careful with this one and make sure it's under a lot of layers if you're selling your piece. So in case someone does have and disclose that it's on your piece. So if someone does have a milk allergy, they can stay away from it. But anyway, it's a good paint. I like it. It's a good consistency too. Now we have the gaming section here, and this is the Model Air, the game Air by Vallejo. Vallejo, I guess is the real way to say it, Spanishly. This is good too. I drop it right in the airbrush and you can spray it. It's really thin and really opaque. Really good. All the gaming paints are really pigment rich and really opaque, and they're really good. Like all of these are phenomenal, but you know, some consistencies of some I like better than others. This one's great for airbrush. It's the only one I have, so I want to get more colors in this because it's just easy. Just drop and go. Citadel. The only thing with these is it's, you know, kind of annoying to work out of the pots. It separates, it kind of gets a little hard, so you got to mix those up often. Again, pigment rich, thick, decent consistency. I love these. These are probably my favorite of all of these, but again, the pot, it's kind of difficult to get your brush in there and, you know, get it out if you want to mix it with stuff. Good consistency, great opaque. This is the Vallejo model color. So this is just regular, like kind of like a soft body, like almost the same as most of the other ones, but not the airbrush. This is the airbrush version of that. So again, I like this one a lot too. I have quite a bit of colors in this, and I like to use this one. This is the MSP Bones, another gaming paint, very similar again, little more gel-like than the others. But I do like it as well. This one is even more gel-like than this, so I don't think I like this one as much. Just the consistency. It's a little jelly in a way. It's hard to describe, and it's probably going to be hard to show you. But again, it's a great paint and very opaque and all that jazz. Another problem with these is that, you know, they're pricey, and you get this tiny little bottle. So these probably run you about $3 to upwards of maybe $8 a bottle, depending on where you go and what colors you get. So they're expensive, and yeah, I mean, but I like them a lot. Next, we have the airbrush type paints. We have the Tamiya. Love these. However, again, the fast drying on these can be a big problem. It, you know, can clog up your airbrush, destroy your brushes. You know, and getting them out of these bottles is just a pain in the butt. But you know, they airbrush nice, and you know, you can just drop them in there and go. Although I do like to thin them with a little bit of alcohol or the thinner that they have, because if you spray it, it's so opaque and so rich that it kind of comes off grainy because it dries that fast. But very opaque, very good. The Liquitex ink, I don't know, not a huge fan. I like the Schminke, I guess that's how you pronounce it, inks way better. But again, these are good for just dropping in the airbrush. Sometimes it can be a little too thin, so I'll put some airbrush medium in there, which kind of makes it a little more viscous, I guess is the word. But they're good. Yeah, not too much bad thing about to say about them. They're just a little thin sometimes, and I just feel like the quality, maybe because I had these first, so I'm used to these, which are like, whoa, these are crazy pigmented. But they're good. And these, like I said, this is really crazy pigment rich. The color in these will just blow you away. Some are transparent, some are opaque. This is opaque. But these are incredibly expensive, and rightfully so. I think they're like $12 a bottle, somewhere around there, and that's a cheap price. So if you can afford these, I would suggest getting a couple of these, because these are really nice. They do tend to dry a little glossy though. So Liquitex, yeah, I'm not a fan of the formula, I guess it is. I know way back in one of my older videos I really liked these for hand painting and stuff, but I'm kind of changed my mind on that. They're just a weird formula. They don't mix well with other paints at all. They kind of just separate, which can be good for some effects if you're looking for that. Like I tend to mix the light brown in with my pink when I do the sclera in the eyes and the skin that's in the eyes, because it creates a marbly type effect. But if you're trying to mix these with other colors and stuff, it's a pain, and they smell weird. So I don't quite know what the makeup is of these. Like, it's just odd, and I feel like they're not very sturdy paints. Like, they really need to be sealed in well. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of people use them for, I think, die-cast car type stuff on metal and things. So maybe they're better for that. I'm not sure. But they blend well with the airbrush, and you can usually just drop them and go. After a while, they get a little chunky in there when they start drying a little bit, so they start clogging your airbrush. So you probably still want to put some airbrush medium in there. The Grex, I still haven't gotten any more. I've grown to like this a little more. I know I was very against it in the beginning, but I've grown to like it. It's almost kind of like the Liquitex in a weird kind of formula, but you know, I only have this one color, so I haven't really gotten around to getting more. And still, this cap infuriates me. Like, this is the worst cap you can put on paint. Like, you can't clean that out. Like, what? No. So this has to be unscrewed and poured out and stuff. So this you could just drop in the airbrush and go to, so that's good. So eventually I do still want to get more colors in this just to see, because I'm not a fan of this color, but it's good for taking things more yellow, if that makes sense, and transparent. But these, fairly new in the studio, but I'm actually really growing to like these a lot. I don't know what it is. I kind of like the consistency a lot. I like how they blend when you airbrush them, and these you literally can just drop and go. Problem, they don't have that many colors at all. I don't know if it's because it's a newer brand and they're going to expand maybe later, hopefully, but there's really not many colors and not many horsey colors at all. So I only have a couple of these, but I wish there were more colors because I would love to get more of those. Chroma. It's also I think this is like the airbrush version of the Jo Sonia. Or Yo Sonia. Yo? I don't know. I'm trying to be all Spanish sounding. So, because I assume that's the pronunciation is the Spanish way. But anyway, so these are supposed to be airbrushy. They're kind of along the lines of the Liquitex consistency, so they do kind of still need to be thinned a little bit, I think. And one of the colors I got in my set is like globby, almost like the folk art, so it must have been just a bad bottle, but I can still use it. Then you have the Com Art, very thin. You could drop and go, but again, I find these almost too thin, almost like the inks, so some airbrush medium in there will kind of bring it together a little bit and make it easier. Still like these a lot. Good for hand painting, like a base for your markings and stuff like that. And then the Jo Sonia, however you pronounce it. Although it's got Japanese and Chinese in here. I don't know. And Korean. I don't know. I still love these a lot. They're soft body, so they do need to be thinned if you want to put them in the airbrush. But nice, really matte finish. Good consistency and great for hand painting and stuff like that. I'd actually say this is very similar to this, but without the melt protein. So there's that. These I haven't used on the model yet. They are very slow drying and they're more gel-like. They are supposedly for open air painting, so your paints don't dry out too quick, and so you can kind of work with them like oils. But I haven't tried it on a model. What I got these for was a painting I was doing. Actually, I can swing over and show you. So I used some of them in there. And yeah, they kind of work like oils, like thin acrylic. But they're not very opaque. They're, you know, like oils, very transparent. So one of these days I'll try them on the model, but I have a feeling they're going to be too thin and too gel-like to do on a model and not quite what you want for that. Then you have the Utrecht, which is like the off-brand of Golden Fluid, like the store brand of it, if you will. And again, soft body, does need to be thin still. Good consistency, decent consistency, good opacity. Same goes for the Golden. These are very, very similar. I do think the Golden is a little better though. I can't remember which one's a little thinner, but we'll find that out in a minute. Then you have the Lumiere. I guess these are fabric paints really, but I like them a lot. I don't think they might come in regular colors now, but I don't think they do. I think it's all like metallics and fun, fancy colors. But I use them. I do use them in the airbrush sometimes, but they do clog it because they're metallic-y and kind of get a little chunked up in there. But they're more gel-like. They're not really good for hand painting, and they're pretty transparent. So, and then you have Liquitex Soft Body. I still really like these. I don't use them as often as I did because I have other brands that I use more now, but I still really like these. They are more latexy, so they do take some time getting used to when you're hand painting with them, but I like dropping these in the airbrush with some airbrush medium, thin them down, and they give a nice effect. And they do dry kind of glossy. Then you get into the heavy bodies, which I absolutely hate using for models and stuff because it's pain in the butt to thin. Sometimes I can't even get them thin because they just don't mix with whatever I'm thinning it with. So I don't recommend these if you're doing models. So we have the Liquitex Heavy Body. It's a great quality paint. It's very opaque and pigment rich. Same goes, and it's basically this but thicker. These dry very matte and they're really pigment rich and stuff, but I hate thinning them down, so I don't use those anymore either. And then you have Liquitex Basics, which I despise with a passion. I hate these so much. They are a student like level of paint of the Liquitex, but they are archival and they are light fast, so they're good quality paint, the student version of it. And some artists do amazing things with these. So, you know, it's not really the paint on this, but I just hate these so much. They are really good for glazing techniques on flat work, but I don't work like that really, and they just, oh, they make me so angry. They're so transparent and they're like gel. I just, they're dumb. And then these, again, I haven't used these at all. These are in like some random little set that I think I got as a gift. When I did the video with this one, and then I remember it not being that bad looking, but I still haven't used this on models, but we'll throw it in here for a comparison with everything today. So now we're going to go into consistencies and what it looks like on paper and such. I tried to get all one color here so we can do a direct comparison, but I was trying to go for off-white, but some of these I don't have an off-white, let alone white, so I will just do the colors that I have for that. So here we go. Let's start with our folk art. As you can see, it sounds really weird. I don't know what is going on in there, but I'm not going to be surprised if it's really gross. So let's zoom in on the paper so we can get an idea. Bring you guys up. Sorry. Please hold. Okay, I think you can see what I'm doing now. Right? Can you guys zoom? That's all I can zoom. Okay, hopefully that's good enough. So we're going with folk art here. Okay. Alright, not too bad. Actually, that one's not too bad. See, some of them you'll get that are really good, and some of them are just terrible. But that one's pretty good. This is the vintage white. But you can see it's still pretty transparent there. And once it starts drying, if you do that, it starts ripping up the previous layer. So that's when you start fighting with those. Yeah, it may look fine here, but if I put another layer on top of that, on like a thicker, not paper, not absorbent, it'll just start dragging it. And then you have this terrible stuff. Yep. See, this is actually... Why are these not looking so bad on this black paper now that I'm showing people? But, again, not very transparent. You can see the black through it. Maybe I'm just putting it too thick. And then we have the melt paint. I have water on my brush, so it's not a very fair comparison there. There you go. There's your melt paint. So still a little transparent, but it's a nice consistency. And that's a lot of these times too. These actually behave really well, but a lot of times they'll separate really gross in the bottle, and they'll be unusable. And next we have our bones. So we're getting a little thinner here. And really nice consistency. Pretty opaque. Here is the Vallejo. model color. Oh, see, that's not mixed very well. That's another thing with these. These are a little tough to mix because they separate. They don't get gross. It's just hard to get that pigment that's settled on the bottom. That's more like it. We have the P3. Bada boom. These are really nice. I like them a lot. And you can go back to any of my other videos to see the other colors that I try out and show. And it may not be the best quality video, but if you can't really see what I'm doing here, then that might be better for you. To test one of the others. See, that was the war paint. See, it's more gel-like and more transparent than the others, which is not why I'm not as crazy about those as the other game paints. But still got really nice pigment in here. What's next? Here's the air. I mean, you see how thin that was that came out of the bottle, but look at the opacity. That's crazy. Yeah, let me try this one again, because this one's not usually that transparent. I think I just got the flow stuff at the bottle. That might be better there. Yeah, there it is. That's the Vallejo. The model ones. So pay no attention to that because I didn't mix it well enough. It's more opaque that way. And we have the Citadel. This one's probably going to need to be mixed really well because it looks like it's separated quite a bit. Another nice pigment, nice opacity. Alright, now we're getting into the airbrushes. So, should I... Let me get another piece of paper. Oh, right here. Perfect. I thought ahead. And we have the Tamiya. Now this one I'm going to have to do quick because it's going to destroy my brush really quickly and dry really fast, so... Bada bing, bada boom. So that is incredibly thin paint, and again, incredibly pigment rich, so that's another really good one. I like it a lot, but again, the bottles and the dry time. Because that's probably dry, right? Oh, I guess not. Guess we're behaving today. These paints are making a fool of me today. But, yeah, that is that. Let's see, we got Liquitex. Got a lot of nice pigment in it, but it smells weird. It smells like potting soil, like dirt. And again, they don't play nice with other brands, but I don't know. Otherwise, I would like them more. And now we have the Grex, which is pretty much transparent as anything, but thin and drop and go airbrush. So yeah. We can do someone. See, there's the, can you see that? Yeah, I got that in frame. But that's the color there. It's very transparent. I don't know what I'm going to use that for. Okay. Now we have the Schminke. Schminke. I don't know. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I think someone told me it was Schminke. Nope. Look at that. crazy thin paint, but I mean, that opacity is insane. It's like absorbing into the paper now, but look at that. That's crazy. Which I'd actually say is almost similar to the Tamiya. It doesn't dry as fast and stuff, so, but it also dries kind of glossy. But as far as working it, the way it works, similar. Now we have the Testors Aztec. Whoa, whoa, slow down there. Again, these are transparent, pretty transparent across the board, but I really like the way they work. So I'm gonna want to get more colors, but I don't think they really have many more colors in that. This is just mostly to show you. I mean, not being opaque is not a bad thing. So, but I figured the black with the lighter colors is easier for you to see the actual opacity. But that doesn't make a good paint or a bad paint. It's just how you work with the paints and their consistencies. So again, pretty pigment rich on the Liquitex inks as well. But I like the Schminke better. But both will do. Hopefully I'm still in camera here. Yep. The chroma. I like the chroma. Chroma's got a nice consistency, a nice opacity, and a nice pigment richness. Good for hand painting. These also you have to mix really well because they separate really fast. But they don't separate like the craft paints do, where you like can't get them back together. Oh. We don't want that. That just kind of fell into the other one. Let's just do it on its own here. Okay, very thin. Very thin. And again, pretty darn opaque for being so thin and color rich. Now we're on to the softer ones. These kind of hurt to open too, so just be aware of that. They're a little annoying, but I like them. And they're really inexpensive. I stayed away from these for a while because I thought they were a craft paint, but they're not. They're actually really, really high quality for a really low price. So I would look for those if you're starting out and want to stay in, but like at a low budget and get a lot of colors. But I mean, look, that's got a great opacity, a great color, great pigment to it. Great consistency too. So, you know, if you had a choice between, you know, going for craft folk art or going for a Jo Sonja, I would pick this one. These only run you about, I think it was like $3 for this, and these are what, usually $2 more. You get more, and it'll last you longer, and it's a better paint. So, I mean, some of the bottles that I've had for years in this, I can't use anymore. I have to throw out. This, I have these for years, and they're perfectly fine. And here we're going on to the Golden Open, and I'm going to put very little on here because these are incredibly expensive, like insanely expensive, to the point where I thought this tube was going to be like this size, given the price. So, yeah. See, as you can see, these are pretty transparent, but I can kind of work with it because it's kind of slow drying, so. I need another piece of paper. And this is probably going to go off camera, yeah, so we're gonna move these out of the way. We'll come back to those, compare everything later. Just finish this up. Now we got the Lumiere. These are gel-like, pretty transparent, and fancy colors. That's like super sparkle or something. Alright, so my camera apparently cut out halfway doing this third piece of paper. And I can't tell you how long I went on and blabbed for a very long time and did not realize the camera stopped recording. I thought I even checked. Anyway, next we have the Utrecht These are really pigment rich. Ba-doom. Sorry, yeah, these are really, really good as well. A lot of pigment, great opacity, but they do have to be thinned. Now you have the golden, blah, blah, blah. What is this, the flow? Fluid acrylics. Oh, that reminds me, I do have a flow. I'm going to have to go grab that. So that's the fluid. A little thinner than the Utrecht, but very, very similar together. Each of those. I'm going to go grab the golden fluid, because doing this just reminded me, and I just got that one not that long ago. And it kind of actually blends in with my Com Arts, which is why I keep forgetting it's another brand that I have. Yeah. These, very similar to the Com Art, consistency and all that jazz. Drop it right in the airbrush and go. Again, can sometimes be a little too thin, but very, very good quality. A little transparent. It's hard to see on this, but it's got good color there. But again, another type of transparent paint. At least that color is. Which I kind of like how they do this, where they put a swatch of the paint over lines so you can see how transparent it is. Some may be more opaque than others, but you can see right off the bat what the paint looks like before you even buy it. So that's good. Now we have the soft body Liquitex. Still really like these. I like the consistency. They have decent opacity, good pigment richness, good for hand painting. But again, they take a little getting used to because they're kind of latexy to work with. Let's go with Liquitex Basics, which I hate so much. But some people just love these, so I mean, it's just me. So there's that. It's not angering me so much today, but I hate these. Anytime I try and use them, I just hate them. And then the Royal Langnickel. Again, I haven't used these at all. Only testing them on that last video that I showed. And I just remember them not being too bad when I spread it. And this doesn't look too bad either. Similar to the Basics. So they're probably very similar. But I can't really say too much. I gotta try them sometime. And then we're getting into the really thicker ones. This is the Liquitex. This is high viscosity, but I've had this one a very long time, and I think they just called them heavy body now. So these are, again, really nice. It's basically the same thing as the soft body, just thicker paint. So, why get that if you're going to have to thin it when you still even have to thin this? But this actually thins easier. And then, now we have our bottle of toothpaste, I like to say. Which is, it's sad because this is a really good paint and I like it a lot. I mean, it's probably great for flat work, but it's just so thick. And it doesn't thin easily. Like, I can't even, thin it if I wanted to. Like, it just chunks, and you need, a stir, thingy, like cappuccino type thing. It would probably get you to be able to thin those. But again, why go through all that trouble when there's so many other types of paint that you could just drop in the airbrush? So, there you have it. I am now going to zoom out. Let's check if we're still recording. Okay, we are. I'm going to... Ouch, ow. I have, no room over here with this tripod. We'll zoom on out. We'll get all the papers in here so you can see what we got. Oops, I made a mess, as usual. Let's see. Got them all on camera? Yeah, good enough. So, there you have it. Those are all the brands of paints I have in my studio that I use, don't use, sometimes use, and all that jazz. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go out and go buy high-quality paints. I just want to show you all the different brands that I've tried, the experiences that I've had with them, what I think of them, what the consistencies look like, what the opacity looks like, so you can choose for yourself which one you think might work for you. It's all about preference when it comes to this type of stuff. Although, when you do get into the cheaper craft paints, you're kind of losing quality and you're losing pigment. and you're losing binder. So you're not going to have a quality end product as much as you would with high quality archival paints. But that's not to say you can't use cheap paints like folk art and stuff. Some people create amazing things with them, you know, but if you're a beginner, I would suggest staying away from cheap crafty things and being all about quantity and wanting all these different colors when, you know, you can get 2 or 3 colors that is all you're going to need to achieve what you want in a really high quality paint. Because when you're beginning, you don't know if you're going to like the process. And I get that you don't want to spend that much money, and you don't have to. You could spend the same amount of money and get a quality paint, so you're taking out of the equation fighting with the product. The craft paints, although some can create really beautiful things, they have experience and they know how to work with the product and they know how to manipulate it. If you're beginning, you don't know that, and you don't know if you're going to like it. So if you take out the difficulty of the product factor by getting a better paint, you're going to know if you're going to like it. And then you can start branching out. If you need a bunch of other colors, you don't want to spend too much money one day and you want to try craft paints, then you can try those and you'll have a better time and an easier time figuring it out, and you'll know how to manipulate that to get it to work for you. But anyway, I don't really want to get into that. This is hopefully helpful for you guys, so you can see what all these kind of look like together and help make the decision of what you want to go out and buy, if you're going to go and buy something, or if you want to try one of these that you see that might look enticing. So anyway, sorry if I sound a little repetitive and weird today. I have such a headache. I woke up with such a headache. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to call it now. So thanks for watching. I hope this is helpful. Share, comment, subscribe, like, all that good stuff, and I will see you next time.